In fact, I just wrote an article in the Straits Times recently on this strongman politics, and the reason, what I said in my article really is that for maybe 15 years since Deng Xiaoping died, the framework for most China watchers when understanding Chinese elite politics is that it is the end of the strongman era, and hence now you have a bunch of leaders. They need to negotiate more. It is a lot more collegial, less of one man just bang on the table and things get done. That is how we have been analyzing Chinese politics. But with the 18th Party Congress and looking at what Jiang Zemin has been able to get out of the 18th Party Congress, I would argue that he has pretty much taken over from Mao Deng as a strongman. He has retired from all official positions for 8 years now. But looking at the new Politburo Standing Committee, 7-member, I think we can say quite clearly that 6 of them are closer to him than to Hu Jintao. Hu Jintao did not get to keep his Central Military Commission position as well, which Jiang did after giving up his party post. So I do not see the end of the strongman era, at least with Jiang Zemin still on the scene, but with his passing, it's hard to say. Right now, we see Xi Jinping having more power than Hu Jintao ever did for his first term. So Xi Jinping has gotten off to a good start. Would he be able to transform himself into a strongman? Perhaps, but it's way too early to say. There's been quite a lot of talk about how the selection of the Chinese leaders is more meritocratic than somewhere else. I disagree. I think that clearly meritocracy plays a part, and it is important for leaders in China to do well. There are certain procedures that they have to go through, certain things they need to achieve in their CV. So at least 2 provinces, preferably some central experience as well, together with the provinces. So it's no longer a case where just anyone can get up to the top. So yes, you do need to have done some work. You need to have built up some experience, have contacts, preferably at the coast as well as the inland provinces. But what is most important is still political patronage, and I don't think we should underplay that at all.
Thanks for the question, Sam. It's a great question. First of all, the first thing to say about this is demographics is the slowest moving theme in the world, right? So don't invest in the stock market on the basis of what I'm going to say. It's we're talking 20, 30, 40 years here. China does have a problem. So the dependency ratio, which is the numbers of pensioners against workers, has been falling for the last 20 years. And so that's the demographic dividend. There have been many more workers per retiree for the last 20 years. Sometime around now, sometime between 2010 and 2015, we start to go up, and the dependency ratio goes up quite quickly. So you're looking at something like 5 to 6 workers per pensioner at the moment. And by 2050, if the demographics stay as they are, we'll be looking at 2 or 3 workers per retiree. And so obviously that creates a whole bunch of issues. Politically, at some point in the next 5-10 years, we'll have to really get serious about the pension system. That's something that really has been pushed to one side and forgotten about really over the last 5-10 years. The pension system at the moment is, there are various, it's an urban system, there's not much in the countryside, there are some employee contributions to pension pots. But the basic story is that anyone paying pensions today, the money is going to pay pensioners today. So there's no funded accounts. And so that creates a problem as you get more retirees, there's no money. And some of the bigger cities, like Shanghai, for instance, are already having quite a large part of or a significant part of their budget revenues they're having to put into the fiscal system, tax revenues they're having to put in the pension system to pay to subsidise the pensions today, and that's just going to get bigger and bigger. So 2 things have to happen, basically, just quickly. People have to work longer, unfortunately. That's a politically very sensitive issue in China as everywhere else. But China, men retire at 60, women can retire at 55. Those age will have to go up. And the second thing is we really do need a big sort of game-changing funding of the pension system. The most obvious and easy way to do that is to take a lot of the shares that the government owns sort of over here in all the state-owned enterprises and put those shares into the pension system and have the SOEs, these big state-owned enterprises, pay dividends into the pension system. If we can do those two things, we'll be okay. But the longer we wait, the bigger the problem becomes.
I think clearly that there is a problem there. Last year I was in Guangdong visiting factories, and they tell the same stories. They're struggling to get workers. The young workers of China, especially those born after 1990s, they are not diligent enough. They don't commit themselves to a job, and this labor problem, if the economy continues to boom, will be a major issue for China. And I think for this incoming team of leaders, a major policy that they will have to look at some point is the one-child policy. And I guess with the outgoing administration, there was quite a bit of expectation that perhaps they may do something with that policy. But the problem with something that's left behind by Deng Xiaoping, nobody dares to touch it. So they tweaked it a little bit. They allow some couples to have 2 kids. But the general dismantling of the one-child policy hasn't happened. But going forward, I think with Xi Jinping and Li Keqiang, they have to look at it seriously. And it would, in a way, indicate just how much courage they have in terms of pursuing reforms in China.